Black male accountability. Where is it? I'm Poe, and I am one half of Homegirl Harmonies, the podcast. Visit us at www.homegirlharmonies.com. Where our podcast is on Soundcloud. It's on Apple Podcasts sometimes, but I'm trying to work with them to get that fixed. So for now, visit SoundCloud. We're on Anchor. We're on Stitcher. We're on Google Play. Pocket Cast, all those little places where you can listen to your podcast. So this week, me and Nige are going to Igloo Fest in Atlanta. On the festival is on Cinco de Mayo, and we never been. I never even really heard about it, but the tickets was $30, and anybody can use a road trip. So I'm going down there on, well, later tomorrow, early Friday morning, like 1 o'clock in the morning. We'll be driving down there from Michigan to see what Miss Atlanta has to offer at Igloo Fest. This week, we didn't record our podcast episode. We usually record on Tuesdays, but we didn't record this week because Nigeria is procrastinating, buying shit and packing and getting her hair done and nails and all that other shit. So we didn't really have time to sit down and record a podcast. Plus her other two sisters are coming and she got to do their hair and shit. So we just, we had to delay the episode this week. But this week has been too fucking juicy. You hear me? Too juicy to ignore. Like, we got to capitalize in some way, shape, or form off of the shit that's been going down this week. So that's why I'm here. To basically unpack and go through all the pop culture events from one of the big things I wanted to talk about. Well, one of the first things I wanted to talk about was the Bill Cosby verdict. So Bill Cosby, 80 whatever fuck year old Bill Cosby, whatever age he is, was just recently convicted on 3 counts, ranging from sexual misconduct to other shit that has to do with him drugging and sexually assaulting Adrienne Constant. Is that her name? The victim that he assaulted in early 2000s that reported it, but at the time they felt like it wasn't enough evidence to proceed with charges, so she got a civil payout instead, because they couldn't file the criminal charges. And that's usually what they do in sexual assault cases, because they act like they don't know how to convict a sexual predator. So those charges came from, that shit started in 2003, but they didn't proceed with it. And so recently, I don't know if it's the political aspect of it, or I really didn't get into the story, because all you got to tell me is that he's been drugging and raping women for 50 years, and I don't really need to know the ins and outs. That's what you do. You need to pay for it. I don't give a fuck how old you are. So that's been the topic of conversation this week. Once that it was announced that he got convicted of those 3 counts and that he could face up to 30 years, but he ain't got but 10 at the most left on earth. There was a debate within the black community on whether he was too old to go to jail, whether he even did it in the first place. They need to leave him alone. They're trying to tear down a black man. He was going to buy NBC. All of the things. So, needless to say, and then that's not even the everything. You got these conversations about whether he actually did it, whether he should go to jail for it, whether, whatever, trying to tear down a black man. I even saw some memes that had a picture of the cast of the Cosby Show, and basically was like, all these beautiful black women, and you mean to tell me he didn't rape one of them? My God. Out of all the stuff that I saw, that was probably the sickest, because it was just like, all these black women he worked with, you mean to tell me he didn't rape none of them? Like, what does that even mean? Where is that coming from? What is the intent behind saying something like, all these beautiful black women, and you mean to tell me he didn't rape none of them? You're disgusting. If you reposted that, you're disgusting. And I'm going to tell you why. Because you're not even... It's like it's okay for him to be a rapist. But he got to rape quality people according to your standard. Like, what does that even mean? Like the women, the white women that he's been targeting for 50 years, they're not attractive enough to rape. But all these beautiful black women, if I was going to rape, I would rape these ones. Y'all are disgusting. Men trying to figure out a way to free yourself from accountability in this situation. That's disgusting. And that's not even the only thing. That's been a big theme this week, is like the reluctance for black men to hold themselves accountable for what they're capable of. Every black man's not a predator. Every black man's not a rapist. Every black man is not an abuser. But a lot of them are. And it's way more than the women that are lying on them. That's another thing that was coming up, is that you want to hear the whole story. You got to hear the whole story of everything. Bill Cosby been raping for 50 years. Allegations over the past 50-something years. And y'all want to hear the whole story, and then, oh, it came out that Janice Dickinson fabricated some of her stories, so that means the rest of them lying too? What do they stand to gain? The one lady that's on trial, she got a civil suit back in the day, but that's what happens when they don't want to criminally prove that you raped them, but she actually has a case, so that's why she would win a settlement against you, is because there's a lot of evidence here. There's a narrative here. Criminal courts just choose to ignore it for whatever reason. There's not enough evidence. He used a condom. They had sex before. All this shit, as if that makes it impossible for one to violate somebody because of all these things. No other crime, you need all these things. Like, but anyway, just the accountability of it is troubling. It's absent, and that's probably one of the biggest issues that we have in the black community, is that we don't hold black men accountable enough, because we feel like the white man and the world is at them too much as it is. We don't want to hold them accountable for anything else. So because police brutality, which, by the way, we never ask for the whole story as black women, as a collective. We don't say, oh, well, we did see Mike Brown rough him up in the gas station, and he is aggressive, and he is bigger than him, and, you know, we didn't say none of that shit, because he had no business dead. But when it comes to sexual assault, domestic violence, y'all always want to hear the other side of the story. R. Kelly literally was on video, and they figured out a way, a technicality, a rich man's get out of jail free card way to not get convicted of that. But the video is there, and my small, I don't know, 2004 14-year-old 14-year-old eyes saw the video. That was R. Kelly. I had no business watching it. And whoever video that I was watching, that's child porn. But listen, it was the early 2000s. Saw the video. That was R. Kelly on the video pissing on them girls. Wendy Williams claimed she was the first one to see the video, live and in color. The one I saw was all raggedy and bootlegged several times, but Wendy Williams saw the first and an original copy of the video, because one of his R. Kelly's associates basically, you know, they found this shit out and they wanted to tell somebody, so they chose to tell Wendy Williams. She said she had watched it and saw clearly that the girls that he was fucking with were teenagers, 14, 13 years old, teenagers. Obviously, you know a fucking kid when you see one, especially in the early 2000s, because these newfangled ones, but you still know when a motherfucker is a baby. Looking at the video, saw that it was a kid. She said she got to a point where I can't finish watching this because what the fuck? This is like some gory ass nasty shit. How are y'all allowing this to happen? Saw the video. Eventually he gets on trial, goes whatever. He was able to make record songs talking about Jigga Kelly not guilty. And the video existed. Everybody saw it. All of y'all saw it. And R. Kelly was here and remained, stepping in the name of love and I wish I, all that shit. He was able to make all that shit after 2004 when he got off for that shit that y'all saw on video. The biggest chunk of the R. Kelly that everybody knows today is from after that. Y'all let it continue. No accountability. Fab and Emily B. Y'all want to hear the whole... The girl said she got her fucking teeth knocked out her head. Because she was in LA and didn't tell him that she was there. Y'all want to know the whole story. Y'all want to act like that shit's not possible. Why would... Because she stayed and didn't say nothing till now? What the... And I'm going to bring that up in a later conversation about Kanye too. Because... So what you're going to say is you need to make better decisions and where you stay and go, which is true. But where are you mentioning that you need to not be hitting bitches in the face because they didn't tell you that they was in LA? What the fuck? So y'all want to say that didn't happen at all. But if it did happen, why she ain't say nothing till now? Like, that's a factor in it. Like, why you didn't say nothing? Why you not doing nothing? Then, yes, she's dumb for staying with Fab. But nobody gonna ask why is this function here? Like, why? Even, why would you stay with somebody who would publicly or whatever the fuck accuse you of something that you didn't do? That's another thing that y'all... If Fab didn't fucking put his hands on her, why is he still with her? That's toxic as fuck. They're both dumb. But you knocking bitches' front teeth out and you got children? A teenage daughter, stepdaughter? What kind of example is that from both of y'all? But the bigger issue is the violence, the control, the predatory nature, the manipulation. All of that shit we never addressed because women's supposed to be smarter. They're supposed to know better. They're supposed to do this. But you ain't supposed to do shit. You ain't supposed to... You're not supposed to know better than to stay with a bitch that's going to tell everybody that you punched her fucking teeth out when it's a lie. Lie. But she got to know not to stay with you if you is doing it. But if you is doing it, she should have said something. Help, please. Black male accountability. Where is it? None.